Hello to everyone. Welcome back to Nourish by Claudia. I am beyond excited today, as you can see from my smile, and maybe you can hear it if you're not watching, but you're just simply listening in, because I'm sharing this space today with Bettina. Bettina, she sent me a message on Facebook 4 months ago. 4 months ago, and
Yeah,
she said, I want to recover. How are we gonna make this work? How are we gonna work together? So you, Bettina, joined the Period Comeback Protocol, and 4 months down the line, just miracles, literally miracles have happened. But anyway, I don't want to spoil the ending. So first of all, welcome, Bettina. Nice to seeing you today.
I'm so happy to be here and to share my experiences.
Yeah, I have to stop smiling because otherwise I'm gonna get a cramp on my jaw. But anyway, Bettina, for all of the people outside the HA community or the Recover from HA support group, because you have been an incredible support for so many women out there. For all of the people that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit more about what has been going on, how come that you lost your period, and what was happening before we basically crossed paths 4 months ago?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, it all started in 2018 when there was a lot of things going on in my private life, and I just couldn't handle it so well. And I felt like everything was slipping out of my hands, and the only thing I could take control of was my body. So I restricted my eating, I restricted with exercising and to the extremes. And 1 year later, in 2019, I ended up in the hospital because basically I was such in a bad state of health that I wasn't able to exist on my own. And I spent there like 3 or 4 months, and that was one of the hardest part of my life because in hindsight, I still think I didn't get the proper treatment. So all I could got from this hospital was to gain back my weight, but I also didn't get my period back because at mental health, I wasn't at that state. And I had a lot of trauma. So it basically worsened my eating disorder being here. For example, that really memorable thing that has stuck with me is that every time they measured our weight and each morning, and if it was decreasing or we didn't gain any weight, we were punished by not being able to visit our family in the weekends. So it really stuck that I'm so dependent on my weight and on the numbers on the scale. And all in all, after a few weeks, I was able to leave the hospital because I was at a healthy weight. And I was like that for a few months, but again, it just was getting worse and worse. And I was losing weight again, and my mental health was really bad. But I was going on with my life like that for many years. And last year in 2023, I had my deepest point in my life because my father has passed away and we were really close. And my like there was so much change in my life because I had to move. I moved out alone to a new city. I needed to get a new job. I was still going to university, so there was a lot of pressure, and I couldn't handle it after a time. So my health just got worse, and I ended up in hospital again. But I didn't have any answers that what is happening with me because the doctors, like they all said that my organs are healthy. I just need to gain weight, and there are just very few, not so severe problems. And I didn't know what was happening, and I was feeling like so lost in my life. I think that is the word that describes it the best. I I was desperately wanted to find any answers to solve this. And I felt like I couldn't. But there was a very strong will in me. And one night I started to do research about what is happening with me, with my body. And that's when I saw an article about AJ. And like where I live in Hungary, it's like a not known disease. And also no experts to help you in this. So I started to to look out for professionals who can help me in this. And the first woman I saw was Claudia, and she was like all my hope back then, and still is. She was like the shining light at the end of the tunnel. So I immediately wrote a message to her, and we had our first half an hour conversation, and I just felt so connected and so safe when talking with her. And I know that is my big chance, and that is, if I take this, my life can change. And so I did, and this was like the best decision ever I have ever made.
And here I am again, holding my tears back. Oh my goodness. But there is something that I have to say. When we had that first half an hour conversation, there were two things that really stuck with me. The first one is the incredible amount of trauma that you went through in such a very short amount of time, because you share with me all your past experiences. And in the same call, you showed to me a level of commitment that I very rarely come across. You told me during the call, I'm all in to get my life back. Not all in the old sense that that we discussed in hypothalamic amenorrhea. You are all in with your heart, with your spirit, with your emotions. You just wanted to get better, and you allowed yourself to get better. And something that is unbelievable is how much your narrative, your thoughts, and then obviously your life has changed in such a very incredibly short amount of time. So, Bettina, what has been happening in the past 4 months? What has changed for you?
So in June, in the end of May, after we met, I started the recovery with you. And now I had the support, the guidance, everything, and the answers I needed. And it was like somebody was holding my hand while going on this journey. And I just felt so safe doing this. And at first it was pretty scary because it was so unknown for me. And mostly because of the reason I had to do it in English. And it was really scary for me because I was really unconfident in speaking English, and I was afraid that I might not get that much out of this as I want to. But it's nothing to be afraid of in hindsight.
It's
And
just your fears holding you back, right?
yes. And I think the most important thing was that I was open to change, and I was willing to change. And I started to implement all these changes you have told me, and everything just started to get better. And both in my social life, I was always like isolating myself. I literally didn't have any friends beside my sisters. And now I have so many people around me, so many wonderful souls, and I got to know so many new people, and now I recognize them. And I also have one very best friend in my life, and someone from the community who I can just connect so well. And it's so incredible that we are miles apart. There are countries between us, but we can just spend like an hour a day talking. And I find these people so uplifting. And whenever I just have even just slightly in a bad mood, and I can hear their voice, it's just the world turns around.
It's incredible. I've seen women really connecting in the Czech community. I saw women jumping on flights and going from the UK to the US, and some of them became someone else's bridesmaid. So I'm not, yeah, I actually believe that that kind of friendship has happened to you, especially because, yes, you allow that to happen because you welcome vulnerability and you shared your story very openly, but also because you have been an incredible support for the women in the community. You are always the first one to send a couple of messages of hope, a couple of words telling everyone, I've been through that. It was really difficult. I made it to the other side. Keep on going. You can definitely do it. And Bettina, sorry if I interrupted you, but I was actually wondering, was there a part of the journey that you struggled with? And that could be in the beginning or maybe towards the end, something that you may be struggling now. But is there anything that really come up for you and you had to move past that obstacles to keep on growing in life?
Um, I think all in all, it was a hard journey, and I think I've struggled a lot also with gaining weight.
Mm.
Uh, but it wasn't like a constant hard thing. It just came up at several points, and I think it's mostly because of the scare story I was telling you, because it really stuck with me that I'm so um like my weight and how I look is part of my personality, and people when they see me it's the first thing they recognize.
Yeah.
And after I got to know people and I was open to them, it all changed because I felt like I am just worthy as a person who is inside of me, and people recognize me. I'm no longer invisible, and and I felt appreciated and loved. And it's so incredible that if you feel open to your environment and the people um, around you, everything can change. So you just have to be aware of your environment. And yeah, I think that was a hard part. But all in all, we're getting along with all these implements and make them a habit was a really hard one, and to break the old ones.
Absolutely. You actually said something that is very beautiful. You are not invisible any longer. So people notices you and they sometimes they do make comment, but most of the comments that I have made, they're all very positive and all because you have changed so incredibly in a variety of way to the point that you even got a job and you got kind of a promotion and you got traveling with your job, and it's such a big leap for someone that wasn't even capable of leaving her own house and getting to know other humans. Um, there was something that I wanted to ask you, Bettina. You mentioned the weight gain, which is such a very sticky point for so many women out there. How did you manage to stick to it? How did you manage to stick to the process day in and day out, even when it felt uncomfortable and even when you just wanted to run away from it all?
Mhm. I think one of the biggest point is changing your mind about it, because you have to make it like put it like that in yourself, that it is something that your body needs to get healthy and to be strong. And once you get this right in your head, the things that helped me was you told me to do that, to look at myself as a friend. And when I think bad things about me, like when I look into a mirror and I see myself bigger as I am actually, or I see myself uglier, just think about I'm seeing a friend in front of me, and I would never tell so bad things about anyone, mostly one of my friends. And that helped a lot, because whenever I had these thoughts, I immediately you came to my mind, and I did this. And also I started to follow on Instagram a lot of accounts that makes you enjoy yourself and improve your self-love, no matter how do you look. And after like seeing all these posts about this, like I still see these on my feed every day, and now it just looks and seems to be more normal, and now I accept it. Like this is the way people look like, not like the models, or we have like these rolls on my tummies, we have stretch marks, and it is normal because everyone has that.
Absolutely. And I keep on saying that until the 70s, cellulite was very welcome and very normalized until an article in the magazine Vogue started demonizing cellulite, and that's how women starting a war against cellulite. How crazy is that? But I also love the fact that you have decided to use social medias as a way to get better, because it's so very easy to say, I'm gonna shut down social media, I'm gonna stop checking Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever that is. But you instead decided to play with the algorithm, making sure that you started receiving the informations that you wanted to feed your brain with. And that's a very smart way to look at recovery, just to get very quick and helpful tools. Change the algorithm. How did you do that? Can you just teach it to the women out there that are not sure how to make that happen?
You just have to search for articles or accounts constantly for a few days, and it will just change all things. And your feed is just going to be all about it.
And you said it for a few days.
Yeah. So if you do it on Facebook, then it will go through Instagram or TikTok, and you will see that everywhere because they are all connected.
And I love that because you said it, you have to do it for a few days. Nothing happens in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's something that you have to keep on doing day in and day out. And I also would like to underline that when you went through recovery, there was someone that you really loved and spent time with, that she was going through a different journey, meaning that she was paying attention to food in a different way compared to you. And she was going to the gym quite a lot. And she was also quite triggering for your recovery, and you still managed to go through that, and you still managed to stay in your yoga mat and kept on going your own direction. How did you make that happen, Bettina?
Uh, the reason behind it because I love her.
Fair enough.
But it was incredibly hard, and mostly because I not just supported her with words, but I was beside her when she was going to these to running or any like occasions where it was about exercising or competed in something like that, and I was beside her all way, and it was really hard because in my mind I knew that I really want to do this. Like I want to I want to run with her. I want to go to exercise with her because my body was really like not in a bad way, but I was craving for to move, to exercise my body. And and what is actually very was very different for me, and mostly nowadays, that as my body has more energy and I got stronger,
Mm.
I feel these cravings for to move my body, but not the same way I was feeling back then because I felt it in a guilty way. So, for example, if I don't do it, I will feel guilty, or I'm not able to do that and this. But now it feels like it makes me more happy if I go for a walk or do a yoga session, and it's not that I need to do it because of I would feel guilty otherwise. So back to the story, I
Yeah.
was really hard, but I think like the simple reason was behind that because I really love her and I wanted to support her as she supports me as well, because everyone has their different journeys, And even if they are going toward the opposite, we have our own ones, and we need to support them. And as much I needed support in my journey, I know that she needs support in hers.
That's so beautifully said, Bettina. And I remember that at that time you lean on the people in the community, even Gabby, the support coach, myself, we exchanged a few messages, and also the lovely women from the HA community. And exactly as you said, she was going through her journey, so you were there to support her. And in the meantime, you were seeking support from other women that were more aligned with the story that you were going through. Now, we haven't even discussed it, but did you end up getting your period back?
Yes, I did. And not on any day, but it was my birthday. So it was like a birthday gift from my body.
Yes. It's just magical. It's just I'm telling everyone, this is just a magical story in a variety of way. But please share it with us. How did it happen? Did you have any symptoms? Did you know that it was coming? Tell us everything.
Yeah, so I started to see many signs before that, mostly in my cervical mucus. So I started to have so many cervical mucus before it happened. And like I also gained weight, so I was more stronger, and I am now at a more healthier and a healthy weight. And I just had so much energy. Like uh, back then, I was feeling so exhausted from just walking 10 minutes, and now I have energy to do anything. and and also, for example, small changes like my hair wasn't falling out that much, and I also started to have a little bit of hormonal acne. um and yeah, so my body showed me a lot of signs before that. And just before the days I got my period back, I was eating so much. I was
Mm.
always hungry, and I was craving sweets, and I just wanted to rest at the same time. And I was visualizing it for so long, and I think that helped me a lot, because in my mind I already believed that it was going to happen. And it did in the morning. And I was like, went to the bathroom. It was really early in the morning because I couldn't really sleep at that time. And I was actually traveling home to my hometown, to my grandmother, to celebrate my birthday with my sisters and with my grandma. And I woke up early and I went to the bathroom, and then I could see it, and I was like, uh, I first didn't believe it. Like, what's that? And I was shocked for a minute, and I started to cry. And I called my sister. I woke her up, like it was almost middle of the night, and she already picked up and said, like, what's wrong? What is happening? You shouldn't call me at night. And I was just crying, telling her I got my period back. And I was immediately voice messaged Claudia, and it was amazing. Like, it just made my day. And I was going home to my grandma, and I was like telling everyone, I got my period. I got my period back.
By the way, my name is Bettina and I got my period today. Nice way of introducing yourself. It's crazy though, the similarity, because when I got my first period back was just before going to sleep. It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I went to the bathroom. I saw that I had my first period. And then I was like, dang, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I was so excited. Luckily, I was living in Australia, so I could call everyone in Europe because everyone was awake. But I do understand the frustration, Bettina. But I'm so glad that you had such a wonderful experience and you visualized it for such a long time. So you kind of knew that it was coming anyway, but you put so much effort, you did the work, and that's why your body gave you a prize in the end. But there is also something else that you said, that before getting your period, you had the energy. And sometimes we live in such a low energy availability state for such a long time that we forget that we can actually thrive in life, that life can be fun, that we don't have to accept exhaustion as a way of being. And I think that when your period came, you were kind of okay anyway. You were like, life is good no matter what. So my period is gonna come, no problem with that because life is good. And you have submitted different lifestyle diaries and diet diaries for the 3 months leading up to getting your period back. And I remember that you sent me the 2 diet diaries before you got your period. And I truly believe in food freedom, but I was like, Bettina, there is quite a lot of chocolate in the past couple of days. It's like breakfast chocolate, lunch chocolate, snack chocolate, dinner chocolate. It's like something is definitely happening here. Oh, that's beautiful.
All day.
Absolutely. And tell me, what did your sister and your grandma say? What was their comment about you regaining your period finally?
They were so happy about it. Like they just celebrated me, and like my grandma was almost crying that finally you are here.
Yes. And I know also the fact that I'm really happy that you got your first period back is because it wasn't a fluke. You had your second period back. You are waiting your third. You're waiting for your third, correct? And we are very safe about it. We know that it's coming. And I think that the next step for you is about reintroduction of exercise and things that really makes you feel alive. But the thing that I really want to celebrate is that I have no fear in mind that now that you have your period, you're gonna revert back to old behaviors because you went from a place of feeling really lonely and miserable to now. I keep telling you this, I sound like a broken record, but like you have so many opportunities in life at the moment. The world is really your oyster because people, you're welcoming opportunities, you're welcoming people, and that's what you're reflecting back. Does that
Yeah,
resonate with you?
yes, and I would never go back there because
Mm.
I wasn't living. Like now I do.
Now you do live. And within the team, the period comeback protocol team, so myself, Gabi, and Jade, we're very often sending each other messages saying, have you heard from Bettina? We're like, oh, she's doing so well. We are so excited about you in the most beautiful way. Now, Bettina, one last question. For that woman that is listening to this video and she's feeling a little bit stuck, what would you like to say to that woman? What would you like to say to the younger version of you?
I think it would be firstly that don't wait for a turning point as I did and ask for help before it gets worse and be open to any kind of changes, and you need to have the willpower to change. And and also to, I think it was a really big thing that I have learned from you is to be grateful because it changes everything. And I just feel so blessed after I express my gratitude for everything, and I can just be happy about so small things in life. And one thing that I often see as the reason in the community that women lose their motivation a little bit and get stuck because they aim for this big, like getting only their period back. And it can take so much time. For somebody, it can be months, for somebody, it can be weeks or even more. And it's a really big period of time to lose your motivation. It can be really easy. And I think it would be better to like celebrate every little tiny big changes that you can make, and it can like feed motivation to you, and you can go on towards the big end, which is getting your period back. And I really like that example of James clear from the book of Atomic Habits, because there was an example of the ice cube. I don't know if you can remember that it even if it changes like only 1 degrees from, for example, minus 100 Celsius, it doesn't make a change until that turning point, which is the breakthrough of the 0 Celsius. And it can take so much time until that when you see the result. So
You
yeah.
have just inspired me. I actually have to write it down. I'm gonna start a gratitude post on the Recover from HA support group, and I'm gonna ask everyone to actually share what they're grateful for. I thank you so incredibly much for this, and I always say that you are also my inspiration, Bettina, because along the way you have always shared golden nuggets here and there. And you're absolutely right. Women are just waiting for this incredible celebratory moment at the end of the journey, which is the period. But the reality is that, well, let's be honest here. Did your life change incredibly the moment that you got your period, the day that you got your period?
No, it was the small in the journey, during the
Yes.
journey.
The period is beautiful. It's like, celebrating a wedding, which is a fantastic day. But the reality is that your life is made in the in-between. It's made on all the days that you have spent with your partner, that you have created that bond, that love, and all the days that are gonna happen after the wedding. Gonna stop with this metaphor, but what you've just shared with me, it's so beautiful, and I thank you once again so incredibly much. Bettina, this call has been nothing short of inspirational, and I know that you're going to touch the heart of so many women. I cannot wait to share this with the whole entire universe. And I know that there is someone, a young Bettina out there, that is going to watch this video and she's going to say, if she did it, so can I. So thank you so much for making this an opportunity for someone to recover. And thank you so much for giving us your time and for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for changing my life.
Thank you, Bettina. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Yeah, bye.